Squats have been said to be the king of all leg exercise. But what happens if you have no access to gym equipment? This tutorial will be showing you how to work with minimal equipment effectively and safely. Ever wondered why unilateral lower body exercises like lunges cause more soreness in the glutes and hamstrings compared to bilateral exercises? This is mainly due to the glutes and hamstrings having to work over time to stabilize due to a smaller base of support, as well as due to an increased range of motion from single leg exercises. With this, let's start off with some of our favorite unilateral movements for the lower body. The pistol squat has been known to be the king of all lower body exercise, along with squats when it comes to unilateral exercises. Due to its full range of motion, as well as an upright body position, it works the glutes and quads extensively. It is important to first get the setup right, and that starts from where the movement is initiated from. Since it is a knee-dominant exercise, you want to initiate it from the knees. Upon descent, you want to sit back with the hips so that the posterior chain helps absorb some of the force from the knees to allow this exercise to be done safely. If this is not adhered to, meniscus issues which are irreversible is highly possible. One thing you will notice is the knee may rotate inwards, which is absolutely fine. Do not change this, as this inward rotation is due to the semitendinosus or the inner hamstrings and vastus medialis trying to stabilize the movement. Ensure to finish each repetition with full extension of the hips and knees. Since the pistol squat is a quad-dominant exercise, ensure that the shoulders and hips rise at the same rate, or it will overwork the posterior chain such as the glutes, hamstrings, and especially the lower back. The shrimp squat works in a slightly different way due to the torso angle. Because the torso is leaning forward, unlike the pistol squat, this exercise works the posterior chain such as the hamstrings and glutes much more than the anterior chain like the quads. As the shrimp squat is a hip-dominant exercise, you want to initiate the movement from the hips. Upon descent, your knees will then flex to allow the downward movement. Like the pistol squat, you will notice that the knee may rotate inwards, and that is absolutely fine. It is okay for the knee to touch the floor gently, but do not let the feet touch the floor, as you do not want it to assist your ascent. Ensure to finish each repetition with full extensions of the hips and the knees. If pistol squats or shrimp squats are an issue due to strength, you can easily regress the movement by starting on a platform like a bench or a block, and make it increasingly difficult by reducing the height of the bench or block. If mobility of the ankle or hips is an issue for pistol squats, there are many ways you can tackle this, and one of the ways is to assume the deeper squat position and relax in the position for 2 to 4 minutes, as this acts as a weighted stretch for the hips and ankles. Ensure your toes point forward when in this position. If bodyweight pistol squats are getting easy, use an external weight to increase the difficulty. For the shrimp squat, increase the depth by creating a deficit, then further increase it with additional weights once this becomes easy. Unlike the pistol and shrimp squat, the Bulgarian squat is an exercise that can be done whether or not you are a complete beginner or an advanced strength athlete. The beauty about this exercise is you can choose to work more on the glutes and hamstrings or quads by leaning forward or staying upright. Start by placing the top part of the rear foot on a bench. A good gauge to work the overall lower body is for the knees to be directly above the ankle when you kneel. For the glutes and hamstrings to be prioritized, hinge the torso forward as you initiate the movement from the hips and knees. Descend and ascend with the shoulders and hips at the same rate. For the quads to be prioritized, keep the body upright as you initiate the movement from the knees. Again, descend and ascend with the shoulders and hips at the same rate. For the regressions and progressions of this exercise, it is pretty straightforward. Regressions for this exercise is to decrease the range of motion. Progressions for this exercise is to hold an external weight. Weighted eccentrics, or the intentional lowering of a weight, have been known to build muscle via increased muscle damage as well as mechanical tension. the 2 out of the 3 principles of hypertrophy. For the legs, our go-to would be the eccentric reverse Nordic curl and the Nordic curls. The eccentric reverse Nordic curls overloads the fibers of the quads by stretching it from 2 intersections, the knees and the hips. The eccentric Nordic curls overloads the fibers of the hamstrings by stretching it from 1 intersection, the knees. The eccentric reverse Nordic curl is done by starting in a kneeling position. You may place a towel or mat beneath your knees for comfort. Maintain a plank position from the knees to the shoulders as you descend backwards with control. As it is an eccentric exercise, start off with 4 seconds to descend, working up to 10 seconds. This is an exercise where it is not advisable to go hard at the start, so only descend to where you feel comfortable. Once the eccentric portion is completed, help yourself up by sitting upright. The eccentric Nordic curl is done with similar execution techniques as the eccentric reverse Nordic curls. As this exercise is for the hamstrings, you will be lowering yourself forward rather than backwards. For the regressions and progressions of these exercises, they are pretty straightforward. Regressions for this exercise is to start off with a shorter lowering time and decrease the range of motion. Progressions of this exercise is to increase the lowering time and increase the range of motion. Unlike the eccentric Nordic curls, which works the hamstrings from a single joint, the leg curl with sliders works the hamstrings using 2 joints, mainly knee flexion and hip extension. This is the beauty of this exercise, but that also makes it extremely challenging. If you are doing this exercise on the floor, you may use socks to facilitate the sliding action. If doing this exercise on the carpet, you will need sliders or anything that slides well over the carpet. Begin with your heels on the sliders or on the floor and your knees almost straight. Extend your hips as you flex your knees to bring your heels towards you. Slowly lower yourself down with control and repeat the movement. The 2 things to take note of is that the knees and the hips are moving at the same rate in the concentric and eccentric phase of the movement. Also, you want to ensure you posteriorly tilt your hips to ensure that this doesn't go into the lower back. Now, to put things together, here is a training template that you may follow. Subscribe to this channel if you found the information useful. Training videos as well as tutorials such as this will be posted every week. As always, give thought to the pursuit of strength, and we will see you next time.